For centuries, the Philosopher's Stone was the central promise of Western alchemy, a bridge between the physical and spiritual, offering a shortcut to perfection. This legend was built on the hope that a single object could grant both eternal life and infinite wealth. But historical alchemists rarely described it as a common rock. The actual texts detail a dense, crimson-red, waxy substance, often referred to as the powder of projection. This impossible material standard became the focus of centuries of human obsession, acting as a catalyst for a search that eventually moved from medieval workshops into the modern laboratory. If the stone has a face, it belongs to Nicolas Flamel. Flamel was a real historical figure, a successful 14th century Parisian scrivener and manuscript seller. He used his fortune to build hospitals and churches, a level of philanthropy so high that it sparked rumors he had discovered a secret source of gold. In reality, Flamel was never an alchemist. The legend of his success and the stories of the mysterious Book of Abraham the Jew were forgeries published in the 17th century, hundreds of years after his death. These forgeries were convincing enough to fool the greatest minds of the era. Sir Isaac Newton spent more of his life studying these alchemical texts than he did the laws of physics or gravity. This creates a strange paradox. If the most famous alchemist in history was a posthumous invention, why did history's greatest genius dedicate his life to the rumor? To understand Newton's obsession, we have to look at deck names, the code names and mythological allegories alchemists used to document their work. Lacking a standard chemical language, alchemists used mythological artwork to hide secrets. For insiders, these functioned as encrypted laboratory textbooks. The dense Latin text surrounding the owl and dragon protected actual physical experiments and intellectual property. These texts show alchemy wasn't literal magic, but a medieval non-disclosure agreement for early experimental chemistry. Alchemists sought the magnum opus, a multi-stage physical process to transform base matter into the stone. As seen here, it required precise transitions like calcination and sublimation. Repeating these stages forced them to master the physical properties of their materials. They never found the red powder, but the search led to the invention of distillation, advanced metallurgy, and much of the glass equipment used today. Focusing on repeatable laboratory stages and specialized equipment laid the practical foundation for modern chemistry. Searching for a myth failed, but it built the tools needed to study reality. Today, we've moved past the medieval laboratory, yet the alchemical dream of transmutation is no longer considered impossible. For centuries, the idea of turning lead into gold was the ultimate symbol of scientific failure. However, modern nuclear physics has achieved exactly this. Using particle accelerators and nuclear reactors, scientists have successfully transmuted elements in controlled laboratory settings. The alchemists were right about the malleability of matter. They were just thousands of years too early. We can now change one element into another through nuclear engineering, rather than a ritual. But the Philosopher's Stone promised more than just gold. It promised a bridge to the spiritual. The second half of the legacy explains why these obscure alchemical stages still interest us today. The psychologist Carl Jung spent years decoding alchemical texts, arguing that they held a value beyond their chemical descriptions. Jung concluded that alchemists were unknowingly mapping the human psyche. In his view, the grueling stages of the magnum opus were symbols for the internal process of discovering the self. Through this lens, the legend of the stone split in two. One path led to chemistry and our understanding of the atom, while the other led to analytical psychology and our understanding of the mind. The Philosopher's Stone was never a real shortcut, but the obsession with finding it forced us to invent the exact scientific and psychological tools needed to map both the universe and ourselves.